A very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us once again. This is the editor's memo. Earlier on, we had a Good Morning Africa show where we got to look at the news making headlines across Kenya here, and we factored our conversation on the latest trending story here in Kenya, and that is the latest loan from IMF towards the country of Kenya. So right now, on the show, I'm joined by the panelists again, Professor Jared Onyari, Douglas Kirimi, Washera from Kiambu, Daniel Wesonga, Jevan Karanja, and Musa Abdi. And to lead us through this part is Dr. David Matanga. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much, all of you, for having taken time to listen, to watch Punchline Africa Television, wherever you are in the world, in America, in Europe, in China, in Russia, in Australia, in South America, in South Africa, Harare, Lubumbashi, in Congo, DRC. Congo is again flames of insurgency flaming up. Good afternoon, wherever you are in New Zealand. Thank you very much. This is Punchline Africa Television from the Political Command Center of this television station in London. My show is the editor's memo. I have listened. I came. I saw. I conquered. Who said that? Wesonga. I came, I saw, I conquered. Who said that? Anybody on the panel?
Those should be
Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar. Please. Julius Caesar. I came, I saw, I conquered.
Veni Vidi Vici.
Yeah. By Macbeth. Go under Shakespeare. By Macbeth. I am shocked that I don't want to go into those details. We shall talk offline. But let's come. I came, I saw, I conquered. I have listened to all what you are saying. From Professor Onyari. Today, let's turn the leaf. We have been hitting the other coin. Let's turn on this other side. Yes, we have defended the government of Republic of Kenya for borrowing the money. But are we going to be naive not also to do what Karanja was doing today and Professor Onyari were doing today? Are we not going to be rubber stamps if we stand and watch, as Washera was saying, Mali?
Yes.
Are we going to be rubber stamps? As Musa was saying, there are people here who should be shot with bullets of zinc and copper. Are we going just to be rubber stamps and not say, as Douglas Kirimi said, if there was a chance, he would strangle people one by one and save this money? Miriam, why was IMF put there? Any of you can try me. Try the question. What was the essence of International Monetary Fund after the Second World War?
Yes, Dr.
Just tell me.
Can I try?
Try, just briefly.
Formerly, they were called Bretton Woods Institution. I think they are the product of the Atlantic Charter between Winston Churchill, Stalin, and Eisenhower, whereby they decided now after World War II, how can we revive the countries which have been downtrodden, the countries which have been destroyed, on how we can ensure that this country is rebuilt. And secondly, also, America came with a new thing of neo-colonialism, I mean decolonization. So they said, now once Britain is going to leave the stage, how are we going to help these countries which have no structures, which have no administration, and how are we going to rebuild them after decolonizing them?
Thank you. In a nutshell, as a senior lecturer, I want to tell you this, Prof, and all of you on the panel. IMF came, what Musa is saying, all this Atlantic, Musa, it is called Marshall Plan.
Yeah.
Any of you who knows what a Marshall Plan is? What was the Marshall Plan?
Yes.
So don't
it was to rebuild and to and to mitigate the effects of the Second World War to the countries which was so badly.
And do what?
To rebuild
the economy.
Yeah.
Sustain the economy. And a student watching this morning, take my lecture seriously. Rebuild the economy of the world. Resuscitate, reinvent the economy of the world. Sustain that never should be a war again.
Yeah, that's right.
Never should there be another Hitler coming up in Europe because of inequalities. The inequalities created chaos. Therefore, there was need for a Marshall Plan. And out of the Marshall Plan, the Bretton Woods arrives on the scene. And they say, what do we do to keep the rest of the world to checks and balances against Hitler mushrooming again? That's why you see the German, West or East Germany, none of them became members of the United Nations Security Council. To date, Germany is not a member of the United Nations Security Council. The Marshall Plan, the IMF, the World Bank, the Bretton Woods institutions, all the lending institutions of the West decided to fight to protect the integrity of what was called the people's gains in the war in Europe and in America and in African territory. Therefore, IMF purpose was to balance life. To balance life. Simply say that. When you are answering as a student of political science or you are writing an international relations paper, don't waffle. Just deliver those points. Onyali will mark you and give you your 9 marks because he will know you were talking about something, but time was not on your time, your place. Am I wrong, Onyali? That's how we mark.
You are right, sir.
So, Musa, thank you very much. You hit the point, hit the Marshall, but you should bring in the words that gives me, I give you the marks. Because if I say time was not against Musa, but he was heading towards the word Marshall Plan. Today, the Marshall Plan of the world stands in the hands of one superpower, one big brother. That big brother is being overtaken by another brother from the east that has seamless eyes, with no eyes but has nose. It smells where their money goes. You know them, the tiger men, the tiger of the east. A tiger smells not with the eyes. A tiger does not see you. A tiger smells where you are. I don't know whether any of you has studied the animal biology. A tiger does not see you because tigers don't run straight. Tigers run in a parallel line. So if you are being chased by a tiger, never try to be in front of it. be on its side. You run for 10 kilometers. But mark you, as it is running for 10 kilometers, it is turning like this. Have you seen that, Karanja? You live near those animals. It is turning like this, then you come underneath. Then it will catch you, smell you. You run it smelling you. That's why the Eastern Asian countries were called the tiger republics. Not because there were plenty of tigers, some eyes, some of them don't have eyes. Can you tell me the difference between the Chinese and the Japanese? Or North Korea and South Korea? Miriam, do you have any difference? The eyes, do they see? When you look at them, those eyes see what? They don't. Coming back to our topic, balancing of life. Why IMF? Another question tonight, this morning. Why do Kenyans go for Fuliza? How many of you on your phones have Fuliza accounts? I believe 3/4 of you here on this phone, except me, you have Fuliza money. You are supposed to pay someone and don't pretend to be angels who have just arrived from heaven. Why do you borrow? Kirimi, why do you borrow? The editors MEMO singles out with a Kirimi. Why do you borrow? On Fuliza.
Sometimes maybe to pay a bill that has overrun my budget, or maybe to buy basic.
You have hit the point. You have overrun the budget. And the needs are available. You need milk for the child. You went to buy posho, sugar, salt, tea leaves, but your child needs Sri Lanka milk. You need to borrow Fuliza. If Fuliza muwili, urudi na milk. You can't come back. Okay, you have bought everything. You are missing power or gas in the house. You have to Fuliza. It is not because. It's not because. And I want to state this, that you don't have the means. You have the means, but they are not available there now. Now and now. It's not because Kenya is borrowing because it doesn't have the means. It doesn't have the cash crop. It doesn't have the industry. It doesn't have the tourism. It doesn't have the elephants. It doesn't have the rhino in Mara. But Kenya has a problem, a pandemic that is right now that tells it tourists are not coming to Kenya. Therefore, there is need to keep the industry afloat, to keep even those workers in the Mara Reserve, not to turn on the animals that kill them. Do Kenyans understand this? Does Ruto understand this with his mercenary groups, Mujahideen? Malcontents of toxins, of impunity, malcontents of toxins, of corruption, proceeds, running around with Turkey shirts from Turkey, telling people how they are rich, gaining from our sweat, using Gicheru as the chairman of the procurement board to learn about all contracts, all procure tenders that are coming and are giving them to his people. Using Ichungwa as the chairman of budget committee to understand, allocate money to Kenya Power, to Kenya Railway, to Kenya Pipeline Company, more money to be allocated. Then you go in and steal it. using Rotich to say, let's bring the question of a dam. Then you go in and allow Rotich to die on his own. Then you say there is a bank guarantee. Where is the bank guarantee? Where is the bank guarantee? This guy, you know, guys who grew up without having shoes from Owino's shop have a problem. At least I walked on my feet without shoes. And I did not admire other people's shoes. I did not want to break into Owino's shop in Eldoret in order to buy the first pair of shoes. My father told me to behave, to protect myself, to go to school the way I was. Because I did not live in the politics of compensation. The editor's memo finds compensational politics as the main act that is siphoning Kenya's money. Because I did not grow up in Kenyatta, Jomo Kenyatta's home, I must steal to equate myself to Uhuru Kenyatta. Isn't it so, Klimi? Isn't it so? Isn't it what the deputy president has been saying? I found myself at the table of a man who grew up in the deputy president, in the first president's house. Am I not lucky? Then I cried tears. I am a vice president because I didn't know. Mr. Krimi, didn't you hear that? The man was crying tears. I am the deputy president. He's going to eat. He's eating your money. That's the deputy president. The tragedy of Africa. That when our thief steals, we tell him it is our hero. It is our heroine. When the man comes with a woman full of fingernails and nails stretching up to Damascus, she's our hero. She has arrived with money. She has come from Damascus. Oh, ye, make the cows slaughter too. How did he come? He came with 2 briefcases of shuji money. You go to the village without money, Mr. Karanja. Let's see who will even talk to you. Karanja, go to the village, Washera, go to Kiambu, and try to walk the way you are walking without the cash in the pocket. Let's see how many people will follow you. The people who stole money in Thika KCB branch, are they not from there? Is there anybody who can show us that if those 3 thieves who dug a tunnel and went and took 50 million from a machine in KCB, where are they? I submit, therefore, that I agree with Kirimi. I agree with Karanja, Professor Onyari, Musa Abidi. Hii watu wanataka kugongwa mitarimbo. You need to give them copper and zinc. If it was China, they would be hanged the same day. And cry how many times? If you have stolen 200 billion, you cry 200 billion. Nobody will touch the money again. I agree with you. Because editor's memo. I can't find the thieves. Neither can I find the names of the investigating officers. Isn't it very pathetic? Onyari, you are saying here and you are not hitting the ground. You did not hit the name. The investigating officers have eaten the same money and we've lost the fight against corruption. President Uhuru Kenyatta said, audit, life audit. Why did we lose life audit? Why did we operate like unknown people? Why didn't we take the life audit, Miriam? Because we are afraid the dark details will come to the light and everybody will know. Therefore, I want to end by saying, of your own, Onyari is a priest.
A chaplain.
Do you really have time? Is there anybody in this world who has time of his own? Do you have your money of your own? 3/4 of the world, including Marine, myself, we rely on borrowed time and money, borrowed money. The Hotel Kempinski, the hotel you go to, Safari Hotel, they were all built on borrowed money. There is nothing that even now, the house where you are, most of the Indians, when they came here, they built that house in borrowed money. They were buying this borrowed money from the bank for 2 shillings. Most of the houses in the east of Nairobi were 20 shillings, 5 shillings, 11 shillings at that time. Today, there are millions and millions because of borrowed time. We all have borrowed time. The message today, we have won the battle. We've got the loan. The loan has been given to us, Mr. President, but let's jail those who fleece us. Isn't that the message that all of you were saying? Can we see some action? Can we see some action? Musa is crying of Kuti, the governor of Isiolo. Why do you line up every day to elect him? I am sure he's going to win a second term, or if he's not in the last term, I don't know. He will be promoted to the prime minister from the same arid area of Isiolo. Is Kuti going for the second term? You see that we elected them, but the government must do. We have got this money. Yesterday we lectured to the world. We were the first television station to say why IMF was created. And it came out true. Later on in the evening, IMF issued a statement similar to our sentiments here, Miriam. Let's praise ourselves. Praise the Lord. That we are, yes, this IMF did that. You look at the statement of IMF. Didn't I tell you risk assessment? Didn't I tell you due diligence? Didn't I tell you credit ratings? Didn't I tell you in the morning about repayments? I did. If we don't sound our own trumpet, nobody will sound the trumpet for us. I want to thank you very much. Viewers, I want to thank you, all of you. I might not have much time to answer any of the questions, But I want Miriam to continue doing so, that side, so that give a minute each. We have 2 minutes left, but we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give 1.5 minutes each to 2 minutes, or 1 minute each, if there is anything to add. We call upon the government, the people of Kenya, the state, the dark and the deeper state. There's now a difference here. And we call especially upon the darker state to help Kenyans, to rescue them from this malaise of corruption. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Doc, Professor, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, thank you, Miriam, and thank you, Dr. Masanga, for the elders memo. I don't have much to say because we covered the first show, but let me just have this to say. The young people I'm seeing, the likes of Musa, Chavan, Washera, Douglas Krimi, this generation is becoming impatient. If you can see that they can get paid and then you can see 2,000 of them going to the social media, they have passed a message, Miriam. How I pray that Miriam, it does not go fiscal. And I'm trying to... So let me just say that this one, that if you mistreat God's people, especially the vulnerable and the weak, you have got a date with God. I submit.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Douglas Kirimi.
Miriam, thank you. And this is my summation of what Dr. David Masanga said. We cannot be able to survive as a country, as a nation, without external borrowing and borrowing into meaningful development like we have seen. We can be able to trace most of the monies that has been borrowed and also put into development projects in this nation. But one instance that one of the issues that we need to be able to deal with is the mega corruption that we have been able to be subjected to. Remember the loan that was taken for Aurora and Kimwarel mega dams was a loan that was taken to be able to finance the construction of the 2 dams. So what I'm saying is I'm imploring on government to be able to track these people. They are known, they are politicians who move around, they bought choppers and built hotels. They need to be able to return the money to the people of Kenya and serve a prison term. Maybe something can happen to them without necessarily jailing the chicken thieves, and we cannot be able to jail the other people who continue defranchising the people of Kenya. Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much, Douglas. Washera from Kiambu.
Thank you, Miriam, and thank you, Dr. Matanga. What I would like to say and to submit is that, as I had said before, the president should make sure that the people behind this kind of corruption acts are taken, actually given their medicine, the taste of their own medicine, because that's the only time that people will know. If you see a thief being burnt down, I don't think you will be able to follow that same trend. I think he should give just one bit of an example to these funny people. Let me just call them funny people, because I don't see how we are all into the same direction to grow in this country, and you are purposely trying to sabotage the president's act or the government, what the government is trying to do. I think they should be put down immediately. Yes, thank you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. And we go to Daniel Wesonga.
Yes, thank you, Miriam. And of course, Dr. Matsanga is very right in every aspect. You realize that no country can survive, no country can achieve economic ascendance without borrowing money. United States of America, one of the leading world economies, one of the largest countries in terms of military power, in terms of democracy, has the largest public debt in terms of borrowing. China, it was just until recently that China was able to settle the debts it had from Japan, from the US and parts of Europe. So that tells you that as a country, we need to borrow money to be able to grow our economy. And for me, as someone who has been in a business class, we were always told that even for the business people, it is always good when you invest being borrowed money rather than your own investment, your own generated income. So it puts an obligation on a project that you are doing as an investor. So I see no need of this lambasting that has been going on against the government. However, as my good friend Douglas says, we need to cap this corruption that is happening in government. We need to bring these people who have been looting billions of public coffers to accountability. We need to charge them in courts and show commitment in combating this scourge of corruption in our system. So, but when you look at it in terms of maybe governance, I think the government has every right to borrow money so that we are able to combat the pandemic. We are able to oversee that our economy is kept afloat. I submit, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. Jevan Karanja.
Thank you very much, Miriam, and to Dr. Masanga and our fellow panelists for their contribution. For me, I'll say that Kenyans should understand that when this money is borrowed, the people who services these loans is the taxpayers. Therefore, as taxpayers, we need to see the money that is borrowed reflecting the developmental agenda and the intended borrowing, so that we can see development, so that we can see the country and the economic aspects of a nation taking shape. Therefore, the borrowing is not a big deal. But Miriam, at the end of the day, the money borrowed must be accounted for. We should not be reserving loans that goes to few people's pockets. We need to reservice loan that we are seeing roads, we are seeing highways, we are seeing railways, and these highways, Miriam, and railways to be done in affordable cost, not these exaggerated and exorbitant amounts that we see being done when they do these roads. We need to see equality in distribution of the money that we get, and this money should be accounted for. And Kenyans should understand, when we pay these loans, the government is there to, as a custodian of the taxpayers' money, and to redirect and to channel this money into helpful agenda, into industrialization, so that we can cater for unemployment in this nation. Also, the government should exhaust the internal revenue generation mechanisms so that we avoid going to borrow so much outside there without exhausting in our internal revenue correction formulas, which can also be used to generate more incomes to our local people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then Musa Abdi Haji.
Thank you, Miriam. And I would like, if any government official can hear me, I'm a young Kenyan. And Miriam, I would say I'm frustrated. I fail to understand why a company, an organization with no competition in this country has to suffer a loss. Kenya Port Authority has no competition. Kenya Airways has no competition. Kenya Power has no competition. And yet they make a loss. And it is simple. It is through corruption. I will not care if today Ken Lusaka will be sent to jail. I will not care if today Anne Waiguru will be sent to jail. I will not care if today Mohamed Abdi Kuti will be put on guillotine and killed. I will not care. As long as this country survives for the utilitarian value, the common good for the many, I will not care. Miriam, I submit by saying, until we have more factories than malls, then we shall remain poor. Till then, Miriam, I submit.
Thank you so much. But I think Kenya Airways has lots of competition. We've seen you can come to Kenya through any other airline, not just Kenya Airways, so it does have. But a company like KenGen, I don't understand why it is suffering some loss, because it enjoys some level of monopoly here. Doctor, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Miriam, who sells these poles to Kenya Power?
Yes, it's rude.
Prof, can you stop?
Why do you fear to say? It's Ruto.
Okay, so the competition.
Concrete poles are manufactured and sold by Ruto.
Yes.
The wooden ones was Ruto. So let's be honest. 47 BC, Julius Caesar wrote a letter to the Senate and said in Latin, vedi, vedi, vidi, vici, vedi, vici, vedi, vidi, vici, vendi, veni. I came, I saw, I conquered. President Uhuru Kenyatta write a letter to the Senate or to the Parliament. People of Kenya, write a letter, an impeachment letter. Write a petition, impeachment petition. You will see how many signatures will go. How many millions within 1 hour will sign an impeachment letter against Deputy President William Samoei Ruto in Parliament. He started it. Kirimid, you can start it. You will see by 1 week, there will be over 20 million people signing for the blood to go. So, veni, vidi, vici. I rest my case. Go and look for those meaning. In 47 BC, Julius Caesar wrote to the Senate, I came, I saw, I conquered. I'm not a priest like Mr. Onyari Akeme. He's a priest.
I'm a chaplain.
Dumpling. Ask him. He will soften your soul. Mine are hard knives that destroy the soul. He softens. Mine are hard what are they called? Blades. Zinauma. Huyu mtu muizi. You will not change him. You will not change Ruto. The man was born a thief, grew up a thief, remains a thief, a trickster who says it's 21, it was not 21 billion, but it is 7, and the money is intact in front of the judges. Were you not there? Were you not on national TV? Are you stupid? Ujinga ilitoka wapi Kenya? Ujinga ilitoka wapi? You didn't hear the man say it is not 21, it is 7, and the money is guaranteed by bank. Guaranteed. Sasa muandike petition, mwambie Deputy President in the judiciary on this date, you told us that there is money by bank guarantee. Can we within 7 days of this letter produce us the 7 billion that you said was guaranteed by the bank? Utaona mtu ana seek asylum in Museveni's land in Uganda. I rest my case.
All right. Thank you so much.
If you think I'm wrong, Miriam, if you think, any of you on the panel, if you think I'm wrong, go and consult your angel who brought you to us. Yes, Karanja, go and ask today again. Go back in the toilet. As you go to the toilet for short call, look at the mirror and ask the angel, what have I done wrong? Didn't that guy tell you that the money is not 21 billion? It is 7, and it is guaranteed by banker guarantee. So, muulize kitu moja. Where is the banker guarantee now? Tunataka hizo pesa turudi so that we don't go and borrow the IMF money. You would have brought the best crisis that you will even be supported by the deeper state or the darker state to remove this guy. He will have no answers. Nyenye Karanja mnakaa hapa muko kwa Facebook every day. If you don't have legal language to frame the thing, I will frame for you. Nyenye you don't know how to create a crisis. Okina Okama, when they are here, professor saying, I am here. I want my money to be brought. Frame the thing. And that history judge you, Okama. Utawini the votes in Nyamira like at 9 o'clock. Wacha motion yako yanguke parliament. If I was a Kenyan, I would have solved this guy's small white teeth down quickly. Unfortunately, I'm not. Then Kenyans who are land, who went to school like Professor Nyari, wako hapa wanacheka wanalia, lamentation book, lamentation book, lamentation. Oh, my wife. Oh. What the hell? Go and get the tape. Go and get in judiciary time. Put it. Petition. Speaker. This man said there was our money. There was a bank guarantee. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are common citizens of Kenya. We would like to retrieve this 7 billion, which our deputy president promised us. It was on bank guarantee. Can we have it so that we reduce from 255 billion we are looking from IMF? And Mr. Speaker, sir, aware of the circumstances under which we are borrowing, and very cognizant that this motion, therefore, is from private members' motion, and the citizens of this area of Turkana, Kiambu, Magori, Nyamira, we have been crying in silence. Mr. Speaker, we tend to move that this bank guarantee is tabled to the parliament. We seek to move a motion of impeachment. If they don't add you professorship, then the university that gave you cannot be a good one. You will go to Nyamira, the best boy. You will win the vote very early in the morning. You will be the most popular boy in Nanyuki. Even the whole town will carry you, and the governor of Nanyuki will.
All right. Thank you so much. I see Tawish has just joined, but we are at the end of this show because I'd like us to come back with looking at what really has been happening. Remember, the Joint Legal Committee has been looking at the BBI. What is the latest? There seems to have made a headway there, so I'd like for us to discuss that after the break. Thank you so much. This has been the editor's memo. Don't go too far. We shall be back.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.